The prospect of simply closing your eyes tonight, just as you have done countless times throughout your life, only to never awaken again, is a profoundly unsettling thought. There would be no forewarning, no memorable pain, just an abrupt cessation into silence. This chilling scenario, unfortunately, is not a rare occurrence relegated to fiction. It happens with a frequency that far exceeds public awareness. Each year, countless individuals aged 50 and above become victims of heart attacks and strokes while they are in the deepest stages of sleep. What makes this reality particularly frightening is that for a substantial majority of these cases, the underlying cause is not attributable to some obscure illness, a stroke of terrible misfortune, or even solely to genetic predisposition. Instead, the silent culprit often lies in seemingly innocuous habits, routines that people engage in nightly, completely unaware of the profound danger they pose. Over the next moments, I intend to illuminate these nocturnal practices, daily rituals that subtly yet consistently transform the hours of rest into one of the most perilous periods for your heart and brain. More importantly, I will provide you with clear, actionable strategies that you can implement starting this very evening to dramatically diminish this critical risk. The information you are about to receive is not an exaggeration, nor is it an attempt at fear-mongering. It represents an undeniable medical reality grounded in extensive research and clinical observation. I am Dr. Karim, and for several decades, my professional life has been dedicated to the comprehensive study of cardiovascular health, particularly focusing on the unique challenges and vulnerabilities faced by adults over the age of 50. Given this expertise, I can confidently state that for anyone within this demographic, the insights shared here possess the potential to be truly life-saving. A crucial piece of knowledge that eludes the awareness of most people is that the nighttime hours represent a period of heightened vulnerability for your entire cardiovascular system. According to authoritative data from the American Heart Association, a staggering nearly half of all fatal cardiovascular events that affect older adults occur specifically between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. This is far from a mere coincidence. It is a direct consequence of physiological shifts. During sleep, your body is naturally programmed to enter a protective and restorative mode. Your blood pressure is designed to decrease, your heart rate should naturally slow, and your nervous system transitions into a vital repair and regeneration state. Furthermore, your brain actively works to clear away toxic metabolic waste products that have accumulated throughout the waking day. However, when certain deeply ingrained habits disrupt these essential natural processes, the very act of sleeping transforms from a rejuvenating sanctuary into a precarious physiological minefield. Tonight, we will meticulously explore the precise reasons why heart attacks and strokes manifest so frequently during sleep, identify the most dangerous nocturnal habits prevalent after the age of 50, and unveil a simple yet profoundly effective routine capable of safeguarding your heart and brain as you rest. Every piece of advice and explanation I offer is rigorously supported by genuine medical research presented in a practical, understandable manner that you can immediately apply to your life. Let us commence by examining the first and often overlooked deadly nocturnal habit, the practice of eating late and consuming heavy meals. Many individuals, especially as they age, mistakenly perceive their evening meal as entirely harmless. They might rationalize, "I'm just having my dinner, as usual." Yet, for those beyond the age of 50, the precise timing and the caloric density of your evening meal can critically determine whether your heart experiences much-needed rest or endure hours of intense struggle. When you indulge in a substantial calorie-dense meal late in the evening, particularly past 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., a cascade of physiologically demanding events unfold simultaneously within your body. Your digestive system, tasked with breaking down and absorbing this late influx of food, demands a significantly increased supply of blood. This, in turn, compels your heart to pump considerably harder and faster to adequately perfuse your stomach and intestines. Consequently, your blood pressure, which should naturally be declining in preparation for sleep, paradoxically rises. Your metabolism, which is meant to decelerate to facilitate deep restorative sleep, instead accelerates into a higher gear. In essence, by eating heavily and late, you are forcing your heart, a tireless organ, to engage in strenuous overtime work at precisely the moment it is most in need of profound rest and recuperation. Compelling evidence supporting this concern comes from a monumental study published in the prestigious European Heart Journal, which meticulously tracked the health outcomes of over 100,000 adults over an extended period. The findings were stark and unequivocally troubling. Individuals who consistently consumed their main evening meal late at night exhibited a markedly elevated risk of experiencing nocturnal heart attacks and strokes when compared to their counterparts who dined earlier in the evening. The physiological mechanisms underpinning this increased risk are multifaceted. Late-night digestion leads to an undesirable surge in blood triglyceride levels, which are a type of fat linked to increased cardiovascular disease risk. It also contributes to heightened arterial inflammation, a key precursor to atherosclerosis and other vascular damage. Furthermore, it significantly disrupts the natural protective nocturnal dip in blood pressure, transforming what should be a period of cardiovascular calm into one of strain. Beyond these concerns, there lies another subtle yet potent danger that frequently goes unnoticed. Retiring to bed on a full stomach dramatically increases the likelihood of experiencing acid reflux. This isn't merely a matter of uncomfortable heartburn. Severe or chronic acid reflux can irritate and stimulate the vagus nerve, a major nerve connecting the brain to the heart and digestive system. This stimulation can, in turn, trigger dangerous and potentially life-threatening disturbances in heart rhythm, a risk amplified in older adults whose cardiac systems may already be compromised. I vividly recall the case of a 60-year-old patient who, for decades, had habitually consumed large, late dinners. One tragic night, she suffered a fatal heart attack in her sleep. Her heart, subjected to years of relentless nocturnal stress, had finally succumbed to the cumulative burden. The good news, however, is immensely encouraging. Rectifying this habit offers almost immediate and profound health benefits. Shifting to lighter, earlier evening meals allows your heart to genuinely enter a state of repose and recuperation during the night. Blood pressure stabilizes more effectively, and the overall risk of experiencing a nocturnal cardiovascular event diminishes substantially. Transitioning to the second deadly nocturnal habit, one frequently underestimated by many: skipping prescribed medications or taking them at incorrect times. For individuals who rely on medications to manage conditions such as high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, or to thin their blood, this particular segment is absolutely critical to your well-being. Your blood pressure naturally adheres to a specific circadian rhythm, fluctuating throughout a 24-hour cycle. In healthy individuals, there is a physiological and protective dip in blood pressure that occurs during sleep, often referred to as nocturnal dipping. However, in a significant number of adults over the age of 50, this crucial nocturnal reduction in blood pressure either fails to occur or, even worse, their blood pressure paradoxically rises during the night. This perilous condition is medically termed nocturnal hypertension, and it represents an extremely dangerous risk factor. Seminal studies published in the highly respected journal The Lancet have unequivocally demonstrated that the precise and correct timing of medication intake can reduce the risk of nocturnal heart attack and stroke by nearly half. Conversely, missing doses or maintaining an inconsistent medication schedule can inadvertently permit silent, uncontrolled spikes in blood pressure to occur while you sleep. These unmonitored pressure surges can have devastating consequences. They can cause vulnerable fatty plaques within your arteries to rupture. Such ruptures can lead to the formation of blood clots, which may then travel through your bloodstream to the heart or brain, often striking without any preceding warning symptoms. I have personally encountered numerous patients who, due to forgetfulness or a misguided sense of perceived safety, would routinely miss their blood pressure or other critical medications several nights each week. One such patient, tragically, suffered a massive stroke during the night. While he survived the acute event, he was left with permanent, debilitating paralysis, a life altered irrevocably by a preventable oversight. The act of consistently taking your prescribed medications at the correct dosage and at the optimal time, as advised by your healthcare provider, is far from a minor detail or a mere inconvenience. It is quite literally a matter of life and death. It is imperative to always engage in an open and thorough discussion with your doctor regarding the most appropriate timing for all your medications, and under no circumstances should you ever intentionally skip a prescribed dose. Your adherence to medication protocols is a cornerstone of your cardiovascular protection. Let us now address the third deadly nocturnal habit, which stands as one of the most alarmingly underdiagnosed killers among adults over 50, untreated or undiagnosed sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a chronic medical condition characterized by repeated interruptions in breathing during sleep, where airflow can cease for periods ranging from 10 to 20, or even a startling 30 seconds at a time. Each such pause in respiration leads to a precipitous drop in the oxygen saturation levels in your blood. In response to this dangerous oxygen deprivation, your body's emergency systems kick into overdrive. Your heart begins to race, attempting to compensate for the lack of oxygen. Your blood pressure surges dramatically, and a flood of stress hormones inundates your system. This alarming cycle of oxygen drops, heart racing, and blood pressure spikes can repeat itself hundreds of times throughout a single night, often without the individual ever retaining any conscious memory of these episodes. Extensive research conducted by leading universities globally has unequivocally demonstrated that untreated sleep apnea triples an individual's risk of experiencing a nocturnal heart attack and quadruples their risk of suffering a stroke. The warning signs, though often subtle and easily dismissed, include persistent and loud chronic snoring, gasping, or choking episodes that rouse you from sleep, recurring morning headaches, debilitating daytime fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to alleviate, and blood pressure that proves unusually difficult to control despite medication. I recall a patient who had long dismissed her loud snoring as merely an annoying habit, something her partner complained about but which she considered harmless. One particularly dangerous night, her blood oxygen levels plummeted to such critical lows that her heart rhythm became severely unstable. Thankfully, emergency medical services were able to intervene in time, saving her life. The subsequent diagnosis and treatment for her sleep apnea fundamentally transformed her overall health and greatly improved her quality of life, demonstrating the profound impact of addressing this condition. While adopting a side-sleeping position can offer some symptomatic relief and potentially mitigate some breathing interruptions, it is absolutely not a substitute for a comprehensive medical diagnosis and appropriate treatment. If you or a loved one exhibit any of the aforementioned warning signs, seeking a professional medical evaluation for sleep apnea is an urgent and essential step towards protecting cardiovascular health. As dangerous as the previously discussed habits are, the next nocturnal practice we will examine is perhaps even more pervasive and insidious, largely because many older adults consciously adopt it, genuinely believing they are acting in their own best interest to protect their sleep. This widespread misconception marks the true genesis of significant danger. We now turn our attention to the fourth deadly nocturnal habit, going to bed in a state of dehydration. After the age of 50, a subtle yet critical physiological change occurs. The body's natural sensation of thirst often diminishes, making it harder to recognize when hydration is insufficient. Compounding this, many individuals deliberately restrict their water intake during the evening hours, with the understandable but misguided intention of avoiding inconvenient nighttime trips to the bathroom. While this might appear to be a practical and sensible strategy on the surface, in reality, it carries profound and dangerous cardiovascular implications. Even while you are asleep, your body continues to lose vital fluids through the processes of respiration, breathing, and perspiration, sweating. If you retire for the night already dehydrated, your entire circulatory system begins its overnight journey at a significant disadvantage, setting the stage for increased risk. Let's delve deeper into the internal physiological changes that occur. When your body is in a state of dehydration, your blood inherently becomes thicker and more viscous. This thicker blood, in turn, flows through your arteries and veins at a slower, more sluggish pace. Crucially, blood that circulates slowly is far more prone to forming dangerous clots. Now, critically combine this with the natural physiological changes that occur during sleep. Your heart rate naturally slows down and your blood pressure decreases. If simultaneously your blood is abnormally thick, the vital circulation of blood to your heart and brain can become dangerously compromised and restricted. This is precisely why chronic dehydration, even if seemingly mild, dramatically elevates the risk of both ischemic stroke, a stroke caused by a blood clot, and nocturnal heart attacks. A compelling study published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Disease provided clear evidence that even moderate levels of dehydration were associated with an increased risk of nocturnal cardiovascular events exceeding 60%. I distinctly recall a 70-year-old patient who, with a sense of pride, informed me that he meticulously avoided drinking any water after his dinner meal, convinced he was doing himself a favor. One grim early morning, he suffered a debilitating stroke in his sleep. Subsequent medical imaging revealed a blood clot had tragically obstructed a major cerebral artery. His blood, laboratory tests confirmed, was abnormally concentrated due to chronic dehydration. In this tragic instance, dehydration played an undeniably pivotal role in the catastrophic event. Fortunately, the preventative solution to this particular risk is remarkably straightforward and accessible. Make it a conscious habit to drink a full glass of water approximately 1 to 2 hours before you intend to go to bed. Just prior to lying down, make sure to visit the bathroom and completely empty your bladder. Furthermore, keep a small glass or bottle of water conveniently placed on your bedside table, allowing you to take small sips should you awaken feeling thirsty during the night. This seemingly simple habit is profoundly effective in maintaining optimal blood circulation throughout your entire sleep cycle, thereby significantly reducing the strain and pressure placed upon your heart and brain. Finally, we address the fifth deadly nocturnal habit, one that almost invariably escapes association with critical cardiovascular events like heart attacks and strokes: sleeping in a room where the temperature is either excessively hot or excessively cold. The ambient temperature of your sleeping environment exerts a direct and significant influence on the functioning of your cardiovascular system while you are asleep. When your bedroom is too warm, your body is compelled to work harder to dissipate the excess heat. This physiological response involves the dilation of your peripheral blood vessels, vasodilation, an increase in your heart rate as it pumps more blood to the skin to release heat, and an accelerated loss of fluids through perspiration. All of these factors collectively elevate cardiovascular stress and can cause your blood pressure to rise, counteracting the natural nocturnal dip that is so crucial for cardiac rest. Groundbreaking research from Harvard University has unequivocally demonstrated that sleeping in rooms with temperatures exceeding 24 degrees Celsius, approximately 75 degrees Fahrenheit, significantly increases the nocturnal cardiovascular risk for individuals. Conversely, conditions of extreme cold are equally, if not more, dangerous. When exposed to cold temperatures, your body reacts by constricting blood vessels, vasoconstriction, in an effort to conserve core body heat. This constriction substantially increases vascular resistance, forcing your heart to work much harder and pump against a significantly higher pressure load. In older adults, whose arteries may already be less elastic and more rigid due to age or underlying conditions, this added cardiac workload can serve as the ultimate precipitating factor, triggering a heart attack or stroke. European epidemiological data has consistently revealed pronounced increases in nocturnal heart attacks during periods of cold snaps and winter waves, with older adults being particularly susceptible. To mitigate these risks, maintaining an optimal sleep temperature range is paramount. The safest and most cardioprotective bedroom temperature range is generally considered to be between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius, which translates to approximately 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Within this ideal thermal zone, your heart rate remains stable, the regulation of your blood pressure is optimized, and your sleep becomes markedly deeper and more restorative. Therefore, managing your bedroom temperature is not merely a matter of personal comfort or preference. It is a fundamental aspect of proactive cardiovascular protection. Now that we have thoroughly explored these 5 critical and potentially deadly nocturnal habits, allow me to provide you with an even more empowering resource, a meticulously structured, step-by-step protective nightly routine that you can effortlessly integrate into your life, starting as early as this evening. This comprehensive, heart-healthy nighttime regimen is designed to systematically address and mitigate the risks we have just discussed. The heart-healthy nightly routine. Around 7 p.m., the light dinner. Aim to consume a lighter evening meal approximately 3 to 4 hours before your usual bedtime. Focus your plate on lean protein sources such as grilled chicken or fish, abundant servings of non-starchy vegetables, and easily digestible complex carbohydrates like a small portion of sweet potato or quinoa. Crucially, avoid heavy, greasy fats, excessively large portions, and any foods with high sodium content. This allows your digestive system ample time to process food before your body fully transitions into its sleep state. At 7 p.m., hydration and medication adherence. Concurrently with your light dinner, ensure you drink a full glass of water. This is a deliberate rehydration step that counters the risk of nocturnal dehydration. If your physician has specifically prescribed any medications that are to be taken in the evening, it is absolutely vital to take them precisely as directed without deviation or omission. This consistent adherence ensures steady therapeutic levels of your medication throughout the night. By 8 p.m., calm engagement. As the evening progresses, transition into a period of calm and low stimulation activity. This might involve a gentle, leisurely walk around your neighborhood, immersing yourself in a good book, or simply listening to tranquil, soothing music. The key is to consciously avoid activities that induce emotional stress, such as intense discussions or arguments, and to significantly reduce your exposure to bright, stimulating screens from phones, tablets, and computers. These screens emit blue light, which can suppress melatonin production, interfering with natural sleep cues. At 9 p.m., optimize your sleep environment. An hour before your intended bedtime, begin the deliberate process of preparing your sleep sanctuary. This includes adjusting your room thermostat to the optimal temperature range of 18 to 22 degrees Celsius, 65-70 degrees Fahrenheit. Crucially, place a fresh glass of water readily accessible by your bedside, serving as a reminder for hydration if needed during the night. Simultaneously, start dimming the lights throughout your home to signal to your body that night is approaching and it's time to begin winding down. At 9:30 p.m., final preparations. Approximately 30 minutes before lights out, make a final visit to the bathroom to completely empty your bladder, minimizing the likelihood of being awoken by the need to urinate. Complete your dental hygiene routine. If there are any final medications prescribed by your doctor to be taken just before sleep, ensure you take them at this time. At 10 p.m., mindful sleep position. As you settle into bed, give consideration to your sleeping position. If you are known to snore loudly or have any suspicion of sleep apnea, prioritize sleeping on your side. Utilizing a pillow designed for good neck support can further enhance comfort and help maintain an open airway. Should you awaken briefly during the night, resist the urge to immediately jump out of bed. Instead, move slowly and deliberately. Sit up for a moment before attempting to stand, allowing your body to gradually adjust. If you feel even slightly thirsty, take small, conscious sips from the water you placed by your bedside. This carefully constructed routine, supported by extensive scientific inquiry into circadian blood pressure patterns and sleep safety, has been shown to reduce nocturnal cardiovascular stress by more than 40%. It represents a powerful, proactive approach to safeguarding your heart and brain while you rest. To quickly reiterate the 5 perilous habits that can silently jeopardize your health during sleep. Firstly, the widespread practice of consuming late and heavy dinners. Secondly, the critical error of skipping or improperly timing your essential medications. Thirdly, the pervasive and often undiagnosed threat of untreated sleep apnea. Fourthly, the deceptive simplicity and danger of going to bed in a state of dehydration. And fifthly, the easily controllable yet frequently overlooked issue of poor bedroom temperature regulation. Each of these habits, when considered in isolation, presents a significant risk to your cardiovascular well-being. However, when multiple such habits are combined, they synergistically converge to create what can only be described as a perfect storm, exponentially increasing the likelihood of a catastrophic nocturnal event. The profound truth, though it may initially feel discomforting, is ultimately empowering. A great many nocturnal heart attacks and strokes are not predetermined, unavoidable fates. On the contrary, they are largely preventable. You are not required to embark on costly treatments, nor are you expected to adopt extreme or burdensome lifestyle routines. What is truly necessary is a heightened sense of awareness regarding these risks and a consistent, unwavering commitment to making small yet significant adjustments to your daily and nightly habits. If you are an individual over the age of 50, I implore you to understand the profound significance of tonight. The decisions you make this evening regarding your habits and routines hold immediate weight. Resolve to initiate these positive changes tonight without procrastination or delay, rather than deferring them to next week or an indeterminate future. Your heart is an extraordinary organ that has tirelessly served you, pumping life-sustaining blood for decades without complaint. It is your solemn responsibility to protect it, particularly during its crucial hours of rest and recuperation. Before you conclude engaging with this vital information, I respectfully ask you to consider taking 4 important proactive steps. Firstly, I sincerely encourage you to subscribe to this channel. My ongoing commitment is to share life-saving health insights each week, presented with clarity and specifically tailored for the well-being of adults over 50. Secondly, please take a moment to like this video. Your simple act of liking helps to amplify this critical message, ensuring it reaches a broader audience of individuals who may otherwise remain unaware of their inherent cardiovascular risks. Thirdly, I invite you to leave a comment below, perhaps simply writing, "I'm changing this tonight." Your personal pledge, publicly shared, has the powerful potential to inspire and motivate someone else in our community to take immediate action for their own health. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, I urge you to share this video with someone you deeply care about, a cherished partner, a beloved parent, a close friend, or any family member. You may never fully comprehend the immeasurable impact of your action, or whose life you might inadvertently save by simply spreading this crucial awareness. Sleep should fundamentally be a process of healing, rejuvenation, and restoration. It should never be a period of heightened danger or harm. Seize control of your health starting tonight. I am Dr. Kareem, and I look forward to connecting with you in our next informative video.